What's going on, people? Welcome along to the Front Three. In this video we're going to be bringing you a new feature to the channel, and that is where me and Cole are going to be having a debate. This week we're going to be looking at one of the most controversial topics at this moment in time in the footballing world, and that is, will Chelsea be able to replicate the Arsenal Invincibles? Personally, as an Arsenal fan, I'm going to go with the against in this one. Cole, obviously you're going to be arguing the point. Do you think Chelsea can go unbeaten this season?
Honestly, I think they can. Obviously, there's so many games that are left in the season. They have Champions League, there's FA Cup ties, Capital One Cup ties, and all that stuff in their way too. But I really think they can do it if they can just grind out wins like they have been doing against the likes of QPR. It wasn't a pretty win against QPR, but they did it. Really, if their strikers like Diego Costa, Remy, or even Drogba aren't playing to their top level, they have the likes of Eden Hazard, Willian, Oscar, who's in incredible form right now. They have really talented and just shut down men in Matic, and Fabregas has the best assist rate right now in probably the whole world of football. So you have to look at their midfield that can get it done. Defensively, there are some issues, but I think ultimately they can strengthen in January. I think they could hold that until January. And really, they're just that side that can grind out a win. I know you'll have some thoughts on that too, on their defense, but it's just one of those teams that can ultimately grind out wins and get that result.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that Chelsea at this moment in time have probably got the most complete squad in the English Premier League. They've got a player of absolute supreme quality in every single position, then a player of good quality to back that up. One example would be Nemanja Matic. His understudy in a sense is John Obi Mikel, and they can afford to do this in a lot of their games. So really, the one frailty in this Chelsea team that at the moment that I would certainly point out is their defence. They've got an ageing John Terry in there who has been vulnerable to a few slip-ups this season, as well as that Azpilicueta. His discipline record hasn't been all that great. The one standout player for me has certainly been Ivanovic, a right-back. Consistent good performances from him, but then again, he's a player that's continuing to age, but it doesn't seem to be phasing him at this moment in time. But then again, this Chelsea defence is conceding a lot of goals, sometimes against lesser opposition, as we saw in the game against QPR. I personally think we could quite easily see them up against a team, see them slip up against a team that plays the high ball, maybe a team like Stoke, or even this current Man United side. I know they've already played them, but they will play them later on in the season. It is a very, very long way to go. You've got to remember that as well. I think it's kind of inevitable to say that they've actually won this Premier League title. They're running away with it at the moment, but of course anything can happen in football. I still think there's time for them to slip up, a lot of time at that. So really, how do you really defend that point?
I'm going to go right to managers right now, and I know you're not going to like this whatsoever, but this is just Mourinho's year. There's nothing really stopping him in the way of that title, and I just think he can do it. If anyone's going to do it, you have to think it can be Mourinho. I can't really think of many other managers that can really achieve that feat. Obviously, you want Wenger to be the only one to do it, but obviously, I'm not going to get too much into Wenger right now because I know you're not too pleased with him right now either. But it's just Mourinho's year. I think he can do it. He's tactically smart. He's sleek. He's just clinical in those areas that you want your manager to be. He's man managing. He's very well in that area. And I just think if he can set up his team at every game and just go on a game-by-game basis and not look too much forward, I think he can do it.
Yeah, I think what separates the Arsenal Invincibles from the Chelsea Invincibles was that we didn't really have a different game plan every time we went into them. We went with the same lineup, like Thierry Henry, Dennis Bergkamp, Freddie Ljungberg, Robbie Perez, and we played some fantastic football every game. It was the same kind of tactical basis. With Chelsea under Mourinho, what I kind of admire about them in a sense is that they will adapt their game to who they're playing. As you see, they line up a bit more defensively against the likes of City, United, Liverpool, Arsenal, etc. But then they'll catch teams on the counter-attack, get that lucky goal, or they'll be satisfied with a draw, which is kind of a logical way of looking at it. If you beat who you're meant to, the likes of Aston Villa, QPR, etc., and if you come up against a big boy and you draw against them, if you were to consistently do that, get the occasional win against them as well, then you could potentially go on to win the league if you win the games you're supposed to. But then again, they've got a lot of fixtures. If they continue the Champions League run they're on, where they're doing very well in that respect, as well as that they're doing exceptionally well in the Premier League, as we already know. They're still in the Capital One Cup, and then we've got FA Cup fixtures coming up. At a point, they're going to rotate the squad. They're going to get injuries. If they were to get an injury to, say, John Terry or Gary Cahill, and they had to bring in someone like Kurt Zouma, do you think that kind of player has relevant Premier League experience to actually sustain their back four?
I don't think they'd have the experience, but I think the players around him can make him better and almost cover up for that fault. Yes, center back is one of the most, if not the most, really important position in all of the field or the pitch, in my opinion. But it's just one of those things. I just think they have enough quality wherever they switch around. If you look at their bench, if you look at the reserves, they have enough to make probably 2 quality Premier League teams, if not almost 3. It's just one of those cases of really consistency if they can push on, and if those players can support really that player coming in, like a Kurt Zuma, like a Nathan Ake, who might have to come in at some point. You never know what happens, obviously, but I just think they can do it. It's honestly their year. It's Mourinho's year, and I'm going to give it all to them.
Yeah, I kind of agree in the sense that consistency is the key of Chelsea, but of course, only time will tell. Anyway guys, that has been our first debate on the front three. If you've enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like rating, subscribe to the front three, most importantly of all, leave your thoughts on this topic in the comments box below. Do you think Chelsea will be able to go unbeaten like Cole, or like me, do you disagree, and do you think that they won't be able to sustain a Premier League challenge where they also go unbeaten? Anyway guys, thank you for watching, and we hope to see you soon.